This is too funny, everybody. This ADA resistance, it makes me kind of giddy. It actually excites me. And I want to actually say everything that I talk about, the tone that I say things in this video, mainly about Cardano, it comes from a macro-minded perspective, zoomed out, long-term. What's happening now with ADA is it reminds me so much of the last cycle when ADA was doing nothing before it absolutely went crazy in the bull market. And I'm getting those similar vibes. But just know that when we're zoomed in, because we're going to look at zoomed in charts, targets, all of that, what's going on at this 40 cents resistance, everything that I'm saying is my opinion. It's how I view the charts, but it's from a macro mindset, a more patient mindset. So we're going to talk about it. Hit the subscribe, hit the like on the way in. I really appreciate your support, and let's do it. And I want to start with the news that you might have seen on Twitter or YouTube. Data points. News in regards to data. Whales acquire 560 million ADA worth approximately $218 million over 2 weeks. And this is what we got going on, everybody. Over the years, the Cardano ecosystem has come under significant criticism for continued delays in network updates, but ADA whales remain unfettered. And I want to actually say that in regards to just delays and everything, let's keep in mind over the years it has come into, critique because of that. But let's keep in mind what has happened here in terms of the Cardano ecosystem and blockchain. All in this period, the bull market and in the bear market, we've achieved just the best staking mechanism in crypto, the multi-asset ledger, smart contracts are here, scalability, DeFi is coming online, and now we've arrived at this next phase, this next era of ADA. So when we read things like that, I think it's important to keep into context. Yeah, there's been critiques, but what has changed in crypto over the years of Cardano building? What insane advancements have there been in terms of solving the trilemma while Cardano has been doing it, right? So not much is the answer. According to on-chain data shared by crypto analyst Ali Martinez, ADA whales are on accumulation spree over the last 2 weeks. During this period, this cohort of token holders holding between 100 million and a billion ADA has managed to scoop up 560 million ADA worth around 218.4 million. So this is what he tweeted. This is the chart, and you can just see this in green. The beginning of April, this uptick of the 100 million to 1 billion ADA holders just accumulating. I want to point out before we look at these charts, and we're going to dig into the charts and talk about the resistance that ADA is at. I wanted to talk about, not to call this person out at all. I mean, this is public info, but it's just a very simple comment on the tweet about ADA accumulation. Okay, what's the impact on price, right? They're asking, kind of condescendingly asking that, laughing. When we see fundamentals come together and we see the blockchain come together, this doesn't just, in regards to Cardano, but when we see things like that and we see smart money accumulating, it's not essentially going to move the price immediately, in my opinion. This is smart money loading up because they see what's getting ready to happen. That's why that's what the story is. So I just wanted to point that out. You see bullish headlines, it doesn't automatically equal bullish ADA parabolic price increase. That's not how we've seen it work historically in crypto in general, and it's certainly not how we've seen it work with ADA. On the weekly chart, I wanted just to point out something that really brings together the bullish mindset that I have. And this is what I do. I look at the trends, right? I discussed in a previous video how this gap between the 50 above the 20-week moving average, that gap, that's bear market territory. That's bear market picture. That's a bear market gap. But then when we have the 20-day moving average or a 20-week moving average above the 50-week moving average, and this gap, that's bull market gap. Well, look what's happening. We're getting ready to enter that next era, which is the bull market gap. It's the 20 crossing above the 50 week moving average, right? So we're setting that up. It's going to take a little bit of patience, but I ask myself, okay, with where ADA is right now on this chart, where was it before the last setup, right? And I'm kind of zooming out on the weekly chart, and I'm looking at this area right here, and you can just see right before the 20-week moving average crossed above the 50-week moving average, ADA just in this range right here. And if we go to the RSI, because this is what I really like doing on the macro, you go to the RSI, and I'm just like, all right, where was ADA in terms of momentum? Where was ADA in terms of what's in store for upside? And the picture is very clear. In that time, when ADA was between the moving averages, the 50 and the 20, getting ready to do that bullish cross, ADA was right around here, right? So let's open this back up. And there's just two very important things to note. Number one is the fact that there is a lot of room for upside for ADA, right? Look where ADA is right now in the RSI, right? Similar move getting ready to happen on the macro. ADA is even lower. There's a ton of room, or maybe ADA was actually right around here at that time, right? So right around a similar area. But the other thing to note is this: where was ADA coming out of? It was coming out of this historically low momentum area, and even most recently, ADA has never actually ticked out of this oversold line, and it actually did. So ADA is in such a similar area as it was all the way back here. When Cardano was being pronounced just a ghost chain, and it still is, look what was getting ready to happen. And this is why I get a little excited when I look at the macro, and I'm kind of like, it might require some patience, and it might still require some volatility to downside even in the shorter term. But I'm just like, on the macro, with this blue chip top 5 blockchain that is being built and is so much more sound than it was back here, we're in a similar environment. For me, it just doesn't get any more bullish. And I say this out of my approach to crypto also. My risk appetite, Cardano it serves my risk appetite very well because there's still so much upside in terms of ADA price. But I just think, and there's risk all over the place, even with Cardano. I'm not saying it's risk-free. I understand the downside risk, but it just seems like this blue chip it has the best risk-reward ratio. And that's what it looks like for me on the macro, a very simple picture of what it's looking like. I want to dig into the charts though a little bit and just talk about where we are. We're going to look at targets to the upside and downside in the short term. It doesn't change anything that I just said in terms of where ADA is in the long term. But again, we're in this inverse head and shoulders neckline area, the 40-cent region. It's just insane to me. And it might not seem like it, but ADA has truly been testing this resistance for months. We see even right now, ADA is just below the 40-cent range. This was, this is a daily chart. So all of these daily candles, look at this consistent, just 39 to 40 cent resistance area. Back here, this is in February, same exact thing happening. Failed a breakout above that resistance area, falling right back down to the moving averages. Back here, still in early February, same thing. And then we can even go back here, a nice little fake out, giving us a little bit of a separation from that area, but all is the same. ADA failed pretty much at the 50-day moving average and just kind of consolidated again below this 39 to 40 cent range. And again, we're still trying to break this higher low area. We're trying to get us a higher high from this, right? So it's the Fibonacci retracement that we talk about so often, swing high to swing low. ADA is still trying to break above and escape. Right now, even if I zoom in on this, ADA is just above the 786 line, but it's nothing. That gap, there's no separation there. We want to see an explosive move away from that area, as well as away from this neckline of the inverse head and shoulders. We're waiting for that. There's no guarantees it will happen. The right shoulder is setting up, but there could be immediate big resistance. ADA could fall. I want to look at what that looks like. One thing to keep in mind as I do this video, April 10th, it's Monday night. Tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but Wednesday, April 12th, a big day. This is the inflation data coming out. So markets in the next 24, 48 hours could be quite volatile. And so that could be to the upside, but it could very well be to the downside. And then we start getting an idea of, okay, this is actually perfect timing for the consolidation that ADA is at in the short term, because you see it. There's, you can kind of chart it like this if you want. I could really chart that and make it look real bullish, right? We're getting a nice breakout out of a symmetrical triangle right now. But I don't want to do that because I want to stick to this upper trend of resistance here. Call that the resistance. But either way, we have higher lows. So we have an ascending triangle, which is also a bullish type of pattern. Not 100% guarantee that there's going to be breakouts to the upside, but definitely a bullish setup of momentum. So breakout target to the upside on the shorter term, 44 cents or so. That's a big deal. it's a big deal even if ADA was to just make its way to that area and fall back down to the support to test that support. It would be a very volatile journey, but it's a big deal because this would be putting in that higher high that we're looking for. Not only breaking this recent high, but it's this one that we're really looking to break. A move to the target of 44, 45 cents, that's a big deal. And how that translates to things like the weekly chart, check out how important that is. Where is that 50-week moving average? It's around 41 cents, 41 and a half cents. So ADA making that big move on the short term, it has a lot of meaning to even the zoomed out. Now, to the downside, I have to bring it up because we're at this multi-month resistance area. If ADA falls, especially if there's going to be fear tomorrow in the markets or something because of CPI data coming out on Wednesday, well, ADA could just test the lower trend line here, could just fall back down to like, down a penny because it's a very small setup right now. Or it could break to the downside, fake us out, and we get a broken, busted ascending triangle, and we actually get the breakout to the upside. But downside is in play with a target of around 35 to 36 cents. The reason that's important, you go to the daily, and let me just clean up this chart, remove the Fibonacci retracement. The daily chart, if that downside target hit, what's in that 35 cent, 36 cent region? It is the 50-day moving average, the 200-day moving average. That area for ADA to consolidate in between all of these moving averages, which have recently converged, it makes sense. I would absolutely like to see just an explosion of separation from these moving averages once and for all. We get overextension from the moving averages, and then we have the moving averages being pulled up to ADA, and then ADA can just kind of meet those moving averages with a higher low. That's obviously the bullish case we want to see, but there's no guarantees to that. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows how crypto in general is going to react to everything going on in the world and in the markets and with these data releases. But one thing I do know is I'm going to continue watching ADA in the short term. This is what the chart looks like. This is what the setup looks like for me. We're approaching the apex. So I think it's a good time if you're interested in watching short-term moves for ADA. It's a good time to start watching because I don't want to say guaranteed. I don't even want to say likely, but I think a big move is getting ready to happen. And it'll be very interesting to see which direction that is. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, everybody. Hit that subscribe, hit that like for me. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.